What's up everybody, Matt Maran here for another weekly update. So lots of news to go over here again this week. First is some really exciting news, and that is that Audi has announced that the new 2020 Audi RS6 Avant is coming to the United States and Canada. So this is huge news because we haven't gotten an RS6 Avant ever, I don't think, and this is the first RS6 we've gotten in a while. And just the return of the Avant is the big deal here. This is a vehicle that many of us have wanted in the States for a long time, and wanted it to be available, and now it finally is. I'm sure Audi probably won't sell a lot of them, so I really commend them for offering this here to us in the US and Canada. So here's all the exciting stuff on it. So it's going to be running the familiar 4-liter twin-turbo V8 for 591 horsepower, 590 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 only takes 3.6 seconds. It puts it all through an 8-speed automatic transmission and quattro all-wheel drive. And the all-wheel drive usually has a torque split of 40 to the front and 60 in the rear, but it can send as much as 85% of the torque to the back whenever it's needed. And so it also has a 48-volt mild hybrid system, but it doesn't give you any kind of electric boost or anything like that. It basically is just there to give you an enhanced stop-start system and power some of the accessories. But there are two different suspensions available. There's an air suspension, which is actually the standard setup, and then you can also get a more traditional suspension, but it's sportier and more adaptive, and so that's going to be the higher level option there. You can also get rear-wheel steering as an option, as well as carbon ceramic brakes, which is all going to be very impressive, I'm sure. Other things here are that you can get optional 22-inch wheels, which I think is kind of crazy as well. I remember not that long ago whenever 22-inch wheels were the things of rap lyrics, and now those are becoming commonplace and the thing of the future. So all those rappers were ahead of the curve, I think, with the 22s. So anyway, other things here is that the whole body is 1.6 inches wider than a regular Avant, and so every body panel is different here on the RS6 Avant except for the roof, front doors, and hatch. Everything else is different and unique, which is awesome. The interior is also pretty unique and slightly sportier than what you get on a usual high-end Audi, but the same kind of dual screen setup and digital gauges are present, although the gauges seem to have a specific unique thing for the RS6 here with cooler graphics. Other things are that it's only going to be available as a custom order car, at least here in North America. So if you want one, you're going to have to actually go in and order it. Can't buy it off the lot. But that's totally fine. I've been totally in support of order-only cars for a long time. If it's something people want, have it that way. There's no dealer risk. It's going to be sold, and there's a lot less risk, I think, for the manufacturer with doing order-only. So it makes complete sense. So there isn't any pricing yet for these, but it should be close to the Mercedes E63S wagon, which is the only other hot wagon available here in the States currently. And so those start around, I think, $112,000. So I'm guessing, $110 is the minimum. Maybe they'll be cheaper than that. I don't know, but that's kind of a safe bet, is starting around 110. It'd be my guess, but we'll have to wait and see for the official pricing. But anyway, so awesome to see that, and thank you, Audi. This is awesome. And now everyone, please, if you have the means and you're interested in it, please go buy it so that they continue to bring these, because again, this all goes back to sales. If they don't sell, then they don't bring them. So if you like this and you want to support it, go buy one, and buy one new. Don't wait for it used, because that doesn't help Audi out. Anyway, other Audi news here is they're also spied driving around in the RS Q8, basically without any camouflage at all. And thanks to Brian Williams for all these spy photos that I'm going to be talking about here over the next several minutes. So basically we can see everything here on the RS Q8, and looks about how we expected it to look. It's pretty cool and will probably sell way more than the RS6 Avant, sadly, but doesn't seem as exciting as the RS6, at least to me, and it seems a little more understated, I guess. The RS6 seems a little angrier, and anyway, this is going to likely use probably that same engine as the RS6. It could get a different horsepower number, but something close to 600 horsepower is probably a safe bet. And anyway, the RS Q8 is likely going to be revealed next month here at the Frankfurt Motor Show, and so cool to see that spied. Another car that was spied on the Nürburgring was the Panamera Turbo prototype here. So this is an interesting thing that just popped up recently, is there's these new reports, thanks to intel from Brian Williams here, that Porsche is going to be doing an Uber Panamera and some top trim Panamera to send off the Panamera before it goes away in 2022, at least for this generation of it. The number that he was able to dig up was 820 horsepower supposedly is being thrown around for what this Hyper Panamera is going to have. And so probably, I don't know, we'll have to see what type of powertrain it's going to be using, if it's a variant of the Turbo SE hybrid powertrain or what. But that is going to be very, very punchy. And so cool to see that running around. But it sounds like, this is probably going to be another year or so before these actually start coming around. Another car that was spotted at the Nürburgring, though, it's been a busy week on the Nürburgring apparently. BMW was spied running the 2021 BMW 4 Series Coupe here, and it looks to be running now production headlights and tail lamps, and looks to be basically like a baby 8 Series, and I think that's how they're going to kind of market this. You can see the taillights in the back are very similar, just kind of a smaller version, similar in size maybe to like the new Z4 taillights, but basically the same design and the same kind of headlights in the front there as the 8 Series. And anyway, that's rumored to be revealed at the 2020 Geneva Motor Show in March, so cool to see that. And Ford, for the first time, was spied running around their headquarters in Dearborn in the 2021 Mach E, as what has been rumored to be called. This is the Mustang-inspired electric crossover, and so the back end has blocky camo, and also the front seems to have some extra blocky camo. Usually EVs don't have flat front ends like that because that just hurts your range. So I mean, I wouldn't take too much stock in what you're seeing here, because this is very well camouflaged and is very well hiding. Like, we know this car is a fastback roofline with Mustang tail lamps, at least if they stay true to the teaser that was already shown. You can't see any of that, and you can see how well the camo hides that. So the front end should be, much more different than what you're seeing here. The one thing they can hide, though, is the very skinny tires this vehicle is running. Now, I know electric vehicles, the skinnier the tires, the better range you have usually. And so I get that, but it just really does not look sporty at all. And again, if this is a Mustang-inspired crossover, I hope it's more than just Mustang styling and it actually has some decent handling. Because Bill Ford was quoted as saying here that it will go like hell. So, like most electric cars, it'll be very punchy in a straight line, but I really hope that it actually handles and doesn't just have some maxi Super Saver tires on it to, just give it absolutely no handling capabilities. So, we'll keep our fingers crossed, but those tires look way too skinny for a Mustang SUV in my book, but we'll have to wait and see. Supposedly, there's a rumor that the reveal is going to be at the LA Auto Show in November. Could be later, could be sooner, but I'm guessing, that might even be a little early. Might not show up till next year sometime. But anyway, interesting to see that spied. And moving along from the spy shots here, we finally have some news about the 2020 WRX, WRX STI, and BRZ. I know many of you have been asking about 2020 WRX news. I haven't had anything until now, and it's disappointing news. So anyone waiting for a next-gen version, you're now going to be waiting until the 2021 model year at least. And we still don't know if it's going to arrive by then. So if you're holding your breath, you're going to be passing out soon. So just, I wouldn't hold your breath. It's a pretty disappointing update here for 2020. So the WRX is the same, but there is a tweak to the performance package now, and it includes Brembo brakes as part of the performance package now, instead of just the race-inspired pads or the sport pads that it had before on the brakes. Now you actually get the full-on Brembos. I'm not sure if they're the same ones as the STI or a separate thing, but you do get Brembo branded brakes now. But that does push the price of that performance package up by $800. So now it's a $2,850 package, $2,850 for that performance package on a WRX, and so that's the only change for the WRX. The only changes for the STI are that push-button start is now standard, and the cooling ducts in the engine bay are a little more effective, supposedly, and you can get gray wheels. That's it. So, like I said, we're going to be waiting here. The pricing goes up, though, too. So even though those are very tiny changes, the base price of a WRX goes up by $300 this year. The STI goes up by $400 for that push-button start and different engine bay ducting. So, not sure where that price increase is coming from, but okay. This also means the best case scenario is that, the next-gen WRX is coming, for the 2021 model year. And this is late because generally it's about 3 years after the Impreza debuts is when, the WRX version shows up. That's the way it was, at least with the last one. But, the current Impreza debuted in the 2017 model year, and so 2020 is when the WRX should have arrived if you're sticking to that timeline. So now we're looking at 4 full years after the Impreza that it's going to be based on, inevitably. And so a little bit disappointing that they're, so late to the game here with that, because the WRX, it's still nice, but I feel like it could use some upgrades and improvements. And so anyway, going to be waiting a while for that. So anyone looking for news, I have no clue when the new one's going to be spied or what's even going on with it. There's been some very scant rumors, and that's it. So I wish I had more news to report. I'm sorry, but that's all I got to go on so far. But one interesting thing for the BRZ here for 2020 is they're bringing back the TS trim, but it's a little different than last time. 2018 they offered it, and it had a huge carbon fiber rear wing and all this other stuff. This one doesn't have that carbon fiber wing, but it is a lot cheaper. It's going to be $650 more than a BRZ Limited, but that's it. The previous one was like, I think, $2 or $3 grand more expensive. So this is a lot cheaper. It is more limited as well. They're only making 300 of these TSs versus 500 they made in 2018. Other things here, it gets all the same other stuff you got on the TS before, so that means you get the sacks, dampers, and springs, engine bracing and other chassis stiffening, Brembo brakes, 18-inch wheels with Michelin Pilot Sport tires, and this time you can only get it in white. I think there was like 3 colors last time. Now it's only white. You get those bronze wheels, which I think is a different look than what you had before, but that's it. So that's all the news for Subaru enthusiasts for this year. So anyway, interesting to hear all that. And Honda continues to roll out the updates for the 2020 Civic here. Last week it was the hatchback we got the updates for, the sport trims and stuff. This week it's the SI models. So I'm hoping next week will be the Type R. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, for the SI this week, it gets an identical refresh to the sports actually, with the new body color trim piece there in the front and rear bumpers. Fog lights are now LED, and the headlights are now an improved LED unit. And they look basically the same as the ones in the Type R. I don't know if they're exactly the same or not, but they look to be the same. So that's a nice improvement over the standard projector, halogen lights you used to get on the SIs previously. And the grille has also been tweaked a little bit too. They also get these new matte black 18-inch wheels now. On the inside, they get updated sports seats with red accents and red trim on the dash. The best change here, though, is that although the engine isn't any more powerful for 2020, it is slightly quicker for the SI here, thanks to a 6% shorter final drive ratio. And changing up the gearing is always one of the best ways to make a car feel peppier, I think, and so great to have. I mean, 6% isn't huge, but that should help it to feel a little peppier, with that final drive being shorter. Anyway, they're going to be going on sale September 6th with prices starting at $700 more than last year, which is a little bit of a jump, but those LED lights are probably worth it alone. And so the coupe and sedan are being priced at the same, starting at $25,930. So cool to see that. There's also many teaser images that are revealed this week. So I got like 4 or 5 teasers here. First one here is from Hyundai. They have 2 teasers actually. The first is that they showed off the i30N Project C, and it's got the camo on it and stuff. It's going to be revealed at the Frankfurt Motor Show. It's named after the Area C, which is Hyundai's high-performance test center, and they say it's going to be lighter and better handling than the regular i30N, but they're only making 600 of these, so this is a very limited kind of thing, similar to the BRZ TS, I guess. I'm guessing maybe we'll get the Veloster N. We'll get some same upgrades here. We'll have to wait and see. So that was one of their teasers. The other teaser that Hyundai revealed here is way cooler, and that is for the 45 concept. So it's called the 45. They'll be showing it in Frankfurt as well. It's an electric car that they say will display the company's future direction of car design. And it channels the Hyundai Pony that they debuted back in 1974, their first car. And that car, which was actually styled by a Tao design, heavily influenced the DeLorean design about 7 years later. So that's pretty awesome. And as you can see, it's a very retro futuristic kind of look to it, and I really am digging it a lot personally. They probably won't make a production version of this, unfortunately. I think it's just showing design, what they're going to be doing as far as headlights and taillights and stuff like that maybe. But if they did do an affordable electric coupe that looked like a modern DeLorean with this kind of styling, and it was an electric vehicle that maybe even used like the same 200 horsepower EV powertrain you get in like the Kona EV, if they put that and made it affordable in a little DeLorean looking coupe, that would be amazing and actually really tempting even for me, I think. Even if it was front-wheel drive, I think that'd be super sweet. And so anyway, we'll keep our fingers crossed that maybe they'll try to do something cool, but I wouldn't hold my breath. But exciting to see that little teaser, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing the full reveal here in a week or two. GMC has teased a Canyon AT4 that's coming in early 2020 and likely at the February Chicago Motor Show. That's where they reveal a lot of trucks and stuff. And so thanks to TFL truck for this teaser image. So they revealed this teaser at the press launch for the Sierra HD, which is going on currently. And so GMC did say that all their models are going to be getting an AT4 package by 2021. And so the Canyon AT4 here, they're saying it's not going to be as extreme as the Colorado ZR2, according to GMC's vice president when they talked with Autoblog. So it's not going to be that intense, but it is going to be sportier than a normal Canyon. So we'll have to see where it lands. But anyway, interesting to see that. Infiniti put out a sketch here for the QX55, which will likely be a coupe version of the QX50, of course. And the sketch basically shows us nothing at all, since there's no way the production vehicle is going to have a roofline that's that racy, unless they just do not want to have any kind of visibility. And so, they said along with the image here that Infiniti plans on having whatever this vehicle is go on sale by next summer. And so not sure when they plan on doing a reveal, maybe the LA Auto Show in November or something for a production version. But anyway, interesting to see that. Porsche has teased the Taycan here with an image of the interior for the first time. And this is going to be debuting here on September 4th, so pretty close. And so along with just seeing that it's going to have a fairly similar dash layout to the 911, they also revealed it's going to be the first mass-produced car to have full Apple Music integration thanks to a 3-year internet plan that comes with the car, so you can do streaming without having to use your phone, but of course it will have Apple CarPlay and stuff as well. And fully digital gauges here you can see on this one, which is a little bit of a difference over like a 911. So those look pretty cool. And you also do get these new control buttons on the right side of the gauge pod, and I kind of like that. That kind of brings back kind of what you saw from the 80s from many different manufacturers with having controls on the pod kind of binnacle there, which is kind of cool. So I'm really digging that, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of that here in a week or two. Aston Martin very briefly has shown a teaser of the front end and the grille for the DBX crossover that they're working on here. That's going to be revealed in December, and looks promising from what we can see here from the one image. We've already seen them running around in camo, so we kind of have a good idea of how the shape of it's going to look, but seeing it with just a bare grille and stuff looks very good to me, and it's going to likely run the AMG twin turbo V8 that they run in the V8 Vantage, and is the base motor in the DB11, with the V12 still being reserved for only the DB11s and the DBS and stuff. And so another thing here, McLaren has teased their Speedster that they haven't given an official name to yet, but it's being referred to as the Speedster for now. And it looks to be 720S and GT based as far as its kind of platform and styling, but without a roof or windshield, as you can see here, and a much more aggressive side profile. So very cool look, I think. Even we get a pretty good look at it, honestly, from that image, and it looks pretty exciting. It's going to be using the Senna engine, they've said, which means it's going to get a twin turbo V8. It's likely going to have close to 800 horsepower, because the Senna does, I think, 789. And anyway, that's going to debut sometime next year, they're saying, and they're only going to be making 399 of those. We got a couple Pebble Beach reveals that I didn't do last week. So Lamborghini revealed their own limited edition Roadster, the Aventador SVJ 63 Roadster to be exact, and they'll be making, you guessed it, 63 of them. So they're all sold already, of course. There's no changes here other than paint and trim, so not really worth talking about, honestly. They also revealed the Huracan Evo GT Celebration, which is another paint and trim special here, and that's to celebrate their wins at the 24 hours of Daytona and the 12 hours of Sebring, and they're only making 36 of those. And the last story this week here is another Pebble Beach reveal, which is actually very sweet. I don't want to be cynical about this one. Bugatti has revealed the Centodieci. I think I probably butchered that, but it's this very, very sweet Chiron-based hypercar, very limited, of course. It's an homage to the EB110 from the 90s, and they're only making 10 of them appropriately, and they've all already been sold, of course, but the price is 8 million euros, or $8,868,840. So nearly $9 million for this thing. It is sweet, but $9 million could buy you like a dream home, all the other dream cars you want, and still have a few million left over to just do whatever with. So, I mean, that's a lot of money. But it is cheaper than the $18 million one they showed at Geneva, the Noir Voiture or whatever. So, anyway, This thing, like I said, Chiron based, meaning it has an 8-liter W16 quad turbo engine that powers it, but it's bumped up an extra 100 horsepower here for the Centodieci. So it's now doing 1600 horsepower, and it'll do 0 to 60 in just 2.4 seconds, 0 to 124 in 6.1 seconds, 0 to 186 miles per hour in just 13.1 seconds, and continues up to a capped top speed of 236 miles per hour. So that is less, I think, than what you get in the Chiron and stuff. But I don't think anyone is ever going to take one of these things over probably 100, honestly, just because they're so highly collectible. So no point in having a high top speed on one of these things. First deliveries are going to be in 2021 for this, if they're ever even driven. Bugatti's head of design told Autoblog about these recent limited edition Bugattis, because there's been a bunch. There's been, like I said, that one off from Geneva, and then you had the Devo last year at Pebble Beach, and so their head of design here said, "I think we should take a break, maybe for a longer time. I don't think we should do homage cars every half a year or so, because this would devalue the other special cars." And then he added, "Now maybe we'll look towards other interesting possibilities." And whenever they were talking with Autoblog here. So that could be referring to the rumored SUV that they've kind of been working on, and we've been hearing reports about. So that is, I'm guessing, what they'll be doing next. But anyway, a very sweet car and a very, very special thing there. So anyway, cool to see that. Let me know your thoughts on everything here in the comments below. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'll see you next week. Take care.